أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Munibah Khan and you're watching Duroos-Ul-Qur'an. Inshallah, we are going to do the second half of Ruku number 22, that is Surah Al-Baqarah, the correct concept of Allah's worship. Last time we covered how paying zakah and establishing prayer, that is iqamati salah and ita zakah, are the bounding terms of the rights of Allah and the rights of people respectively. Inshallah, we will be doing the further fulfillment of covenants in this episode. Now, special attention is paid to the fulfillment of covenants. Whether the covenant is made to Allah or His servants, fulfilling it is necessary and is a requirement of faith. Patience, tolerance, and steadfastness are extremely important and desirable qualities. Patience in the face of sins, patience in obedience, patience in afflictions, in the path of faith and righteous deeds, in the struggle to establish religion, patience and steadfastness are needed at every opportunity and every stage. Therefore, it was emphasized. In times of peace and war, in ordinary and extraordinary circumstances, patience and steadfastness are always required. The purpose is that those who have faith fulfill its demands. They spend their wealth in the path of Allah, establish prayers, and pay zakah. They fulfill the rights of both Allah and His servants, adhere to their commitments, and demonstrate patience and perseverance. In reality, such people are true believers, pious, and God-fearing. This is the kind of devoutness that Islam desires to cultivate. Islam is not just a religion or a mere faith consisting of only a few moral teachings and some social principles. Islam is a complete way of life and a comprehensive system. It encompasses beliefs and foundational intellectual aspects, moral and spiritual teachings, social and economic principles, political and societal regulations, and guidance. All of its teachings are interconnected. It provides a complete education for culture and civilization. It offers comprehensive laws for peacetime and wartime. It includes complete regulations and bylaws for civil and criminal matters. Therefore, an important principle of criminal law is mentioned here. It is that Islam commands the punishment of life for taking a life and prescribes the principle of an eye for an eye. Like its other laws, this law is also based on justice and fairness. In times of ignorance, both in history and even today, 10 and 20 were killed in place of 1. And even today, unjust and oppressive nations and people in power do so. Islam states that only the murderer should be punished with death. If the killer is a man, he should be put to death. If the killer is a woman, she should be put to death. If the killer is a free person, he should be put to death. If the killer is a slave, he should be put to death. Islam does not allow the killing of an innocent person in retaliation for the murder of someone else. According to Islam, murder is not an unforgivable or irredeemable crime. If the heirs of the victim desire, they can choose to pardon the murderer in exchange for compensation, that is, blood money. Being deprived of Allah's law, a person in society or individually always deviates from the truth. Sometimes they reach one extreme and sometimes another. At times, they start killing 10 or 20 people as compensation for one life. Sometimes they start considering the death penalty itself to be wrong. In this way, the society commits the crime of devaluing human life. Therefore, today in India, the respect for human life has gone, and a significant reason for this is the deprivation of Allah's religion and Sharia. Those who believe in Islam and the Qur'an have an obligation to convey Allah's religion to their fellow countrymen and make them aware of His Sharia. Those who go against Allah's book and Sharia will be trapped in a painful punishment. The Qur'an presents this golden principle and wisdom of Islam in front of us and appeals to human reason to accept that there is life in qisas, that is retribution. If the world understands this Quranic principle, it can become a barrier to bloodshed in the world. Human society will respect human life, and it will be in harmony with prosperity, peace, security, and justice. In this context, there is a law of inheritance. Its details are explained in Surah An-Nisa. Here, attention is drawn to the law of will in regard to the law of inheritance, suggesting that a person should make a will for charity, for deprived heirs, and for the expenses that they like. The guidance given here for wills for parents and other relatives was before the law of inheritance was revealed. In this regard, the Prophet ﷺ gave two instructions. First, it is not right or permissible to make a will for those relatives whose shares and rights are determined by the Qur'an in inheritance. Second, it is not permissible to make a will for more than 1/3 of the property. For all relatives other than the heirs and all good deeds, making a will is not only permissible but also a duty for those who fear Allah and are conscious of the hereafter to act upon it. It is necessary to act according to the will, provided that the will is not against the Sharia. If any disagreements or disputes arise in the process of executing the will, they should be resolved through reconciliation. This is a brief explanation of this ruku. Let us also note its points so that it is easy to remember them. Point number 1. Goodness and virtue are true faith and deeds in accordance with it, not superficial and outward things. Second, belief in Allah, the Day of Judgment, Allah's angels, His books, and His prophets is essential. Third, despite the love and need for wealth, spending money for the sake of Allah is true religiosity. Fourth, wealth should be spent only for the sake of Allah to fulfill the needs of relatives, orphans, and the poor, and to free prisoners, slaves, and debtors. Fifth, establishing prayers and giving alms, that is zakah, is obligatory, which means fulfilling both the rights of Allah and the rights of fellow humans. Sixth, keeping promises and fulfilling commitments, along with patience and perseverance, are both requirements of faith and proof of piety. Seventh, qisas, that is retribution, is obligatory, so the people of faith should establish a system in which legal retaliation can be sought. Eighth, if the heirs of the victim are satisfied and forgive the killer, the qisas and the law of retaliation will not be applied. Ninth, qisas will only be taken from the killer regardless of who he is. 10th, it is not permissible to kill an innocent person or person in qisas. 11th, following the principles and laws of qisas is not only a societal matter but also the life of humanity. 12th, for non-heirs and in matters for charitable purposes, one should allocate 1/3 of their property through a will. 13th, it is necessary to fulfill the will as long as it does not go against the Islamic law. 14th, in case of any disputes or conflicts regarding the will, it should be resolved through reconciliation. And Allah's supplications, all praises are due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. With this, we come to an end to our today's episode. Inshallah, we will continue with Ruku number 23 in our next episode. The objectives and etiquettes of fasting in Ramadan. Jazakallahu khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.